Hey, gorgeous people! It's been a crazy day, but you know what? We are here and we're going to have some great fun. I know. I'm here, literally, it's Christmas time. I'm wrapping gifts that I made for people that hopefully they'll love them. That's all that matters, right? So this is the Celtic Rain Radio Show. We are here to have an amazing time. We play small label and independent artist music from all genres of music. I know, it's amazing. But they'll have to be family friendly. That's my big thing. Please just, don't send me stuff that's mean. Ta-da! That's it. But all genres of music. It's amazing. I know. So tonight we are doing something a little different. Tonight we have our, because our guests of the evening are not here in America, so we had to kind of move it around a little bit. So I had to pre-record the interview, but Bleeding Raven is amazing. So needless to say, I cannot wait for you to get to know them. But first off, just saying, if you're not on YouTube watching, you should go to YouTube, go and subscribe to www.youtube.com/C for channel /Celtic Rain, and like rain out of the sky. And then you can go and subscribe and know exactly when we're going to be taping. We tape live every Tuesday night from 9 until 11 p.m. Eastern time. And you can be a part of the show. If you love something, if you want to comment about something, please just do that right on that YouTube channel. It's pretty amazing how that works. You can also comment after if you're listening, and you can comment after and be like, oh my gosh, this is the best. And I'll be like, yeah, I know, right? If you want to send me music and you are a small label or independent artist and your music is family friendly, just saying. Also, number one, number two, it kind of needs to be either your own stuff or stuff that's open, everybody can use. Okay? That way, there's no copyright breakages here, right? Send it to celticrain777@gmail.com. That's 777, that's celticrain777@gmail.com. And MP3s, and I will get that on the air. And we are the Celtic Rain Radio Show, so we have some amazing music coming your way. Amazing music. So the first one is called One More Mile by Victor Sierra. I know. Great. And then we have Long Time Comin' by Jennifer Medcalf. She was one of my first interviews. I would love to interview her again, actually. And then we have Vera Volette by Morant. I think I might have actually almost got that one right. I'm just saying, right? I know. It's one of those things. But we do get to listen to this amazing music now. I know. It's some great stuff. And so if you like the music, again, please go and say something about it. Say what you like about it. The artists love to hear what you think about their music. So you guys ready? Here we go.
Through waves of industry or hate, in this part of the world there's no such thing as retreat. Love and hatred mix up in foreign languages. No one knows when our airship engages. One more mile and we see the city lights. One more mile. Let's move on and help the tide to turn. atmosphere, getting surrounded by complete and utter confusion. Private contractors standing on the Belvedere, watch us as if we were from a different inception. One more mile and we see the city lights. One more mile. Let's move on and help the tide to turn. Just one more mile. City limits. We're no rookies, we know how to deal with crisis. We know the future can be the past in disguise. One more mile and we'll see the city lights. One more mile. Let's move on and have the tide to turn. Just one more mile. One more mile and we'll see the city lights. One more mile. Let's move on and have the tide to turn. Just one more mile.
Process of healing leaves me feeling like I'll never get where I want to go. I struggle each day for another step on the way. Will I get there? Oh, I don't know. Maybe this is all I get. It's so easy to forget just what it felt like to be not in pain. I could give up easily, say this is good enough for me, till I remember what I've got to gain. It's a long time coming, but I'm gonna get there. I declare I will be whole again. It's a long time coming, but I'm gonna get there, and I'll prove to the world I can mend. I want a reset button, but life's not simple like technology, and it's hard to remember what it felt like to be healthy, so you lose focus along the way. What was I aiming for again? How much better can I get? I've gotta take it slow. Well, that's a struggle, you know, 'cause patience was never my strength. Still it's becoming clear that it's the only way from here, or else I'll wind up headed backward again. The end seems so far, an unreachable star. I look for little signs along the way that I'm together, getting closer to the time when I'll say it was a long time coming, but I'm finally here. I declare that I am whole again. It was a long time coming, but I'm finally here, and I've proven to myself I can mend. Good days, bad days, 2 steps forward, 1 back. Still I've got to believe that I'm on the right track. When I look at where I was, I see how far I've really come. When I look at where I'm headed, it feels like stepping out from shadow to sun. It's a long time coming, but I'm gonna get there. I declare I will be whole again. It's a long time coming, but I'm gonna get there, and I'll prove to the world I can mend. It's been a long time coming, but I'm finally here. I declare that I am whole again. It's been a long time coming, but I'm finally here, and I've proven to myself that I can mend, and I'll prove it over time and again.
Morant, I love you. You're awesome. That's one I'm gonna probably have to pre-record because they're not here in America, and definitely want to get them on the show for sure. Just really do. Okay, so we have an amazing band that had to pre-record the interview with called Bleeding Raven, and that's what's coming up next. I cannot wait for you to hear this band. It was a great interview. Now, understand, it's actually not a band. It's one guy, and then he does all the instruments and everything else. But he also has a few musicians that come on and help him with things. But it's one guy, and he's quite an interesting character. So I cannot wait for you to get to know him. So here you go. Here's the interview with Bleeding Raven. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited. I am here with Bleeding Raven, and this is probably one of the most interesting ones because I haven't had anybody with a mask yet. So this is really kind of cool. A whole new persona here. So it's really awesome. So we've been listening to your music here a little bit here and there, and I would love to know how did you come up with the name for your band?
Okay, so hello, I'm D Mason of Bleeding Raven. Okay, so basically how I came up with the project name Bleeding Raven, it's inspired by indigenous Canadian spirituality, and the raven is very much of an important symbol, a common symbol, not just with the indigenous Canadian, but other cultures as well. Sometimes the raven can be seen as a creature that carries a soul to the creator, after death, but also can be seen as the trickster, can be seen as a symbol of wisdom, can be seen as many different interpretations of the raven. And the bleeding part is a reference to suffering, and it's sort of a nod to the suffering indigenous people in both past and present, in both, my country, Canada, and your country, the U.S., and of course Mexico. So I'm not indigenous myself, but I have a very deep respect for indigenous culture. So that's where I came up with that. Before that, I had the project name Gnostic Gorilla, and Gnostic Gorilla, and before that I had the Lonely Ghost Project. But I learned that there was another band in the U.S. somewhere called Lonely Ghost Parade, and I thought I don't want to be confused with them. So what I did is I went from Lonely Ghost Project to Gnostic Gorilla, which was actually a line in one of my songs, Eye for a Lie, a Gnostic Gorilla song. And Gnostic Gorilla basically it's a nod to evolution and creation sort of coming together. So Gnostic, to know, the tree of good and evil, or the tree of knowledge, I should say, in Genesis, but also the gorilla, the ape, a nod to evolution. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
Interesting.
So, But Bleeding Raven is my present project, and I will not continue with Gnostic Gorilla except for promoting what I already have.
Right. So you're technically a one-man band, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm one.
Nice.
You know what? When I started this, it was basically just a hobby. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it was just a hobby. I would do this on Mondays, which was my day off usually, and started with the project, and I started this in late 2011, and it built into what a hobby built into. I just kept messing around, coming up with stuff, and most of it was instrumental at first, and then I tried one track with actually writing lyrics and doing vocals and everything like that. Now, actually, I got to backtrack. In 1984, really, it's a long time ago, I put out a single called Dark Hallway and Golgotha, and that's as D Mason. So that's if you can see my interviews, you'll see a reference to that. So I did have experience in recording before, but anyways,
nice.
So in 2012, I started really working hard, like I said, exploring this hobby with recording music, and I just had come up with some stuff, and I was putting stuff on SoundCloud and so on, and I get to know people get to know me, Anyway, long story short, at one point, I had a whole album. I had released a lot of stuff on my own. Both as Lonely Ghost Project, D Mason, and then Nosta Gorilla. And Cleopatra Records discovered my stuff, and they wanted to release the album St. Basil's Asylum. Then later on in the summer of, or the fall actually, the fall of 2019, they released my first Bleeding Raven album, which is Darkness
Nice.
Consumed.
Nice. That's really awesome. It's really awesome. So you do all of the instruments, but you said
That's-
there is one instrument that other musician that was working with you a little bit. Who was that?
That's correct. On the song St. Basil's Asylum, the title track of the album St. Basil's Asylum from Nosta Gorilla, Damla Bozkurt does the violins, and she's from Turkey, and she was one of these
nice.
people that actually I got to know through SoundCloud. And actually, the song originally had violin samples, and she said, "You know what's wrong with this song, right?" Because she always loved my stuff, and she always praised it up and down. And she's a real musician. I'm a arranger of noises, like I'm an industrial guy. Okay, but she's a real musician. I mean, a beautiful musician, amazing violinist. She said, "You know what's wrong with that song, right?" I said, "What? What's wrong? What's going on?" She said, "It needs real violins."
Oh.
So we were able to work something. It wasn't that easy, but she, through technology, modern technology, she played the violins for the song St. Basil's Asylum, and it is probably one of my best songs. She also did violins for a track called The Ninth or just Ninth Hour on, which is on the album Hide the Ghost, which is presently on vinyl on Geisha Boy Records. So yeah, she's wonderful. She's also in the video for St. Basil's Asylum. So just a bit of trivia there.
Nice. That's pretty awesome. I love collaborating with other musicians because it's so fun to be able to know, okay, they're going to put something in my music that I could never have been able to put in there.
For sure.
It's going to add so much more. I love it. I love collaborating with other musicians.
Absolutely. And as far as the song St. Basil's Asylum, she made that song, and even she made the video. I think that's my opinion.
Nice.
So I'm not just trying to be humble. I mean, the beauty of that song is the violin. So St. Basil's Asylum, if you ever get a chance to check that out, the song. But I have also collaborated, but not with my music. Other musicians coming in, and well, actually, that's not true. I've had other ones. Now I think of it. It's other projects. Luna Melancholy. I didn't talk about that, but anyway. But I've also been asked to do vocals and other. There's an Australian band that I did vocals for, a Finnish band I did vocals for. So yeah, it is. You're right.
Awesome.
Collaborating with other people is a neat thing. It really is.
Yeah, it's really, I don't know, for me, I did a project way back when I was just in college that I wrote all the music, and then I took it to my friends who were musicians and singers and others, and I said, okay, now I'm going to give this to you, and you do you, and let's just see what happens. And it turned into one of the most amazing things in the whole world. And I was just like, exactly, because I don't play this instrument, you do. So, make this yours. And I love, that's probably my favorite way of writing music, is I'll write the melody in the words, and and then we go into, and I'll hand it to the musicians and say, okay, let's figure this out. And then we sit down together, and if there's something I'm like, oh, let's tweak that a little, but at the same time, it's just, it brings out a community and a sound that you would never have on your own, and it's just gorgeous. I love collaborating.
And you say brings out a community. I mean, look at these people I mentioned that I've recorded stuff with. We put out, music together, and Turkey, Australia, England, Finland, there's someone I'm missing there. Germany, I think. So,
there you go.
It's
awesome.
So,
that's awesome.
You're right. And that's the other thing too about this with the music. It's connected me with people around the world, and it's a really neat thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you're in Canada, correct? Where in
I'm
Canada,
in Canada,
are you?
That's correct. I'm in near Toronto, south of Toronto, heading towards Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not that far away. You're not that far away.
You're in New York City?
No, I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought you were in New York. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so
'Cause
I could
was-
actually
was
get in
hoping
my
for-
car and
I
drive
was
to you.
I was listening for a Brooklyn accent, but I guess
No,
Actually,
no
speaking
Brooklyn
of
accent.
Brooklyn, I wanted to backtrack. When I said one of my first songs, like that I did, going back to when I did got back into recording and doing it as a hobby. One of my first songs was a song called "Requiem for the Prophet of Doom." And it's a song about Peter Steele of Typo
interesting.
Negative. Now he died in 2010, and so sort of a homage to him. And so my first song that I have, aside from the 1984 45, I was just a kid then. I mean, literally a kid, almost barely out of diapers. But anyways, yeah. So that would have been just I thought I'd mention that.
Nice, nice. Well, we are going to actually listen to one of your songs right now called Bleeding Sane. Can you tell us about that one?
Yeah, Bleeding Sane, song about a struggle with depression and maybe anxiety disorder, hopelessness, whatever. And just and also in the world out there, we're all expected to perform, we're all expected to be something or whatever. It could be our work or whatever. And one of the things that this pandemic has maybe taught us is that we're more vulnerable than we think.
Yes.
But also we're all seeking for that. What is sanity? What is sane? What is right? What is feeling whatever? And so it's sort of a nod to that, but also possibly a nod to the unfortunate reality of suicidal ideation among a lot of people in the world, and something that's very close to my heart. I hope to someday be more of an advocate for that. So
Nice.
anyway, that's
beautiful.
Bleeding Sane.
Well, we're going to listen to that song, and then we'll be back in a little while to talk to you again, okay?
Thank you.
Well, guys, isn't he interesting? He's just such an interesting guy. I know. I did not know what to expect when he came on with the mask, but it's a persona and it's amazing. And I'm telling you, it was one of those things with me. I was like, oh my God, this guy is so interesting. So interesting. All right, so as you know, we're going to listen to Bleeding Sane by Bleeding Raven. There's a lot of bleeding here. And then we're going to listen to It's a Little Bit Complicated by Philadelphia Phil. And then we're going to listen to Wither by Skipping Stones. So we have a lot of amazing music coming up. And, it's just one of those things that you look at it and you go, thank you, God, for all this amazing music. So you guys ready? Here we go.
Jane is so in love with Julie. Julie's so in love with Jane. Jade has got it bad for yours truly. And I'm so in love with Jane. It's a little bit complicated, but it's a whole lot of fun. It's a little bit complicated, but it's a whole lot of love. Jane is loving Julie in the morning. Later Julie's loving on Jane. Sunset, me and Jade with loving Julie. Me and Jade, Julie loving on Jane. It's a little bit complicated, but it's a whole lot of fun. It's a little bit complicated, but it's a whole lot of love. If music be food of all your loving, all you lovers play along. Hearts beating in the moonlight, all you lovers sing along. grandma don't know what to say. Julie's dad pretends he just don't see us. But all our friends know we're okay. It's a little bit complicated, but it's a whole lot of fun. It's a little bit complicated, but it's a whole lot of love. It's a little bit complicated, but it's a whole lot of fun. It's a little bit complicated, but it's a whole lot of love. It's a whole lot of love. It's a whole lot of love.
Will you stay? I am weak, flesh and bone, torn asunder, fading fast into black. Old headstones buried under. I don't belong, don't ask me to stay. I can't hold on, no relief from the pain. Two us combined, the distance remains as I wither away. As I go, please know this, my heart aches for the future. Forgive me, love, I can't hold on. I'll see you soon and further. I don't belong, don't ask me to stay. I can't hold on, no relief from the pain. Two hearts combined, the distance remains as I wither away. Let me go. I don't belong, don't ask me to stay. I can't hold on, no relief from the pain. Two us combined, the distance remains as I wither away.
I'm going to say this. Skipping Stones is one of my favorite groups that has sent me music just because I like a rock band. I'm just saying. And this song is just, I don't know, it speaks to me. It speaks to me. I'm just saying. Oh, and it was really kind of cool, you guys, when It's a Little Bit Complicated came on. I forgot that I sing backup on that. And I'm like, hey, that's my voice. That's awesome. See, collaboration. Just saying. I know, right? Collaboration. Well, this is the Celtic Rain Radio Show. If you do want to send us music, send it right there to CelticRain777@gmail.com. That's rain like rain out of the sky. And we are going to have some amazing music coming up as well. First, we have The Trouble with Tribbles 4, censored by 5 Year Mission. And then we have Nub Nub by El Troubadour. I know, I love them so much. And then we have Like I Do by Adam Crabtree. I know, pretty amazing stuff, right? I know, it's going to be amazing. And now, all we have to do is just listen to some amazing music, and here we go.
Have you ever wondered just what to do when the Federation's face to face with you?
And they're getting in your face and in your way. And you're so pissed off you don't know what to say.
Well, you probably needed educated for a while
About how to deal with them cramping your style.
Shut up
and listen to the tale we tell.
and pay attention as we introduce ourselves.
They call me Korax, I serve the bull of the grass. I'm extremely loyal to Captain Cola. I've always got his back in any fight. We share a blood oath.
You might say they're tired.
We were in a pub to grab some grub. Couple of others start something up. I put them in the place, left the face a mess. They're just lucky I wasn't back in a bat lab. I'm Cola, Colos is where I'm from. You
Yeah.
see me coming, boy, yeah, you better run. I'm warning you to stay out of my space, so you'll find a disruptor pointed at your face.
Yeah.
I feel I need to warn you about the biggest jerk. He's a pain in the ass and he goes by Kurt.
Yeah.
He messes up your shit and he's always in your grill. He's the kind of oh you just want to kill.
Leon's got his own way to make.
We don't call it a day to leave it up to fate.
The nastier the girl, the more we think she's fine. And it doesn't hurt if you have a little blood wine.
When I want a bad, I just start a fight.
And before you know it, she spent the night.
We don't care at all what she has to say. That's for the humans, not the Klingon way.
The trouble.
The trouble with humans.
Y'all say,
Who's that?
Listen up, it's core. Now shut up. I'm gonna tell you what for. I had my own spat with Kirk a while back.
Y'all know we're getting young.
Yeah, we done occupied that. Until Kirk is my glide and I got this. They done blew up my guns and got Organians pissed. If they hadn't forced peace, we would've won. But in a flash of light, they was all just gone.
Let me tell you about Crass. He was a bad till the day that he and Kirk crossed paths.
Capella 4, he had it under control.
When along came the cowardly human troll, spreading lies about Crass to the people there.
Stopping my ass from becoming to ear.
Crass tried to save the Capellan's day, but instead he just got blown away.
That's the trouble.
The trouble with humans.
I'm an SRT and I'm really pissed. After one mistake, I just got dismissed. I was cooking up a deal like a 7 station when I got sparked off by the Federation. Had a match to play, and you might think was insane. Suck a book at 7 and I poisoned the grain. Along came Kirk and those triples, man. I got myself made and they foiled the plan. You had the chance to go back in time. I put the bomb in the grenade in Kirk's
I
life.
hope you all learned a lesson about a way to rumble. That's what the humans ain't nothing but trouble. Trouble with humans.
Humans.
That's the trouble.
That's the trouble.
The trouble with humans.
Humans.
All right, we're going to do a song from our 2009 album, Black Cauldron. This is a song that was written for the Return of the Jedi. It was written by John Williams, the famous composer of the Star Wars music. What most people don't know is that the lyrics were written by his son, Joe Williams. Joe Williams, in case you need just a little bit of trivia for your night, John Williams' son, Joseph Williams, was the lead singer for Toto. Thank you. Let me get a drink here.
I know you left me, and you had your reasons why, but I just can't bring myself to say goodbye. And I heard you found you another man, and I'm doing my best, baby, I really am, to understand. Was he the reason that you had to go? Can you please tell me this, 'cause I really need to know. Does he need you? Need you like I do? Does he need that love and touch when a long day's through? Does he need that tender kiss when you're lying in bed and you can't fall asleep feeling like a mess? Baby, does he need you? Need you like I do? Oh, you told me I should move on, but how can I just let go when a part of me's gone? Just that thought, well, it pains me in my soul. Can you please tell me this, 'cause I really need to know. Does he need you? Need you like I do? Does he need that love and touch when a long day's through? Does he need that tender kiss
guys. Great music, right? I had Adam on a little while ago, and he's an interesting character. He really, it's really interesting. He has had a really interesting life. Great father to a son who's disabled, and just plays his music so just from his heart. But you know, everybody, it's a country song, right? You're gonna lose your wife. You're gonna lose your truck, your dog. I'm just saying. What's that thing that says if you play a country song backwards, what do you get? You get your wife back, you get your truck back, you get your dog back. It's just sad, but sometimes true. Anyways, so needless to say, this is the Celtic Rain Radio Show. If you have music to send me, you can send it to celticrain777@gmail.com. MP3s, please. Has to be from a small label or independent artist. It needs to come from them. So don't just send me music from other people, because that gives me permission to play it. This is kind of the way it is. And it has to be family friendly. You know, there you go, right? Just, don't be mean. But now we have another interview that is pre-recorded, of course, but still, please make comments. We had some really interesting comments about the things that were already going on, and someone said about Bleeding Raven's music that it was just sung. Sounds like it should be in a scary movie. I know, right? But did you hear he was talking about how a lot of his music has influence of the Native Canadians, so you could hear kind of that sound there, which was really quite interesting if you really listened. And Natalie says, this is fun. I like Phil's stuff. I know. Phil's such a great guy. And then Buck Rogers Jr. says, sounds like a fun song about nub nub. Nub nub yub nub yub nub. Anyways, sounds like a fun song. It's a little hard to tell with the live auditorium recording. It's a live recording. There you go. But then he also said about Adam Crabtree. Adam Crabtree has some really nice songs. Saw him on Wish TV. There you go. See? Awesome stuff. But now we get to hear a little bit more from Bleeding Raven. And isn't he an interesting guy? I know. So here you go. You get to know him a little bit more. Hey guys, we are back here with Bleeding Raven. It's been amazing to talk to you about your music and about your life and where you are. About your life, do you get to just do music, or do you do other things in life besides that?
No, I don't do just music. In fact, like I was saying earlier, that music is more or less was a hobby, and I was surprised that I ended up having a contract offer with a label offer from Cleopatra Records, and I got 3 releases with them. 2 is Not the Gorilla, and 1 is Bleeding Raven, and also other smaller labels.
Nice.
Like I said, it was just a hobby, and I still don't take myself that much more seriously, to be honest with you. But no, I don't like to talk too much about my what my profession is. That said, some of my work has brought me into penitentiaries and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. So yeah. I in my line of work, I get to see all kinds of struggles, all kind of realities in human struggle. And so while that's never come out in my music about specific cases or something like that, I talk about it in general, what I've seen, how much there's a lot of suffering out there, and also
definitely
how much people can the more you deal with different kinds of people, the more you realize that life really isn't black and white, and we really like to judge and to reject people so easily in our day and age, and we've seen that more overtly in the last few years. So anyway, so
definitely
my work is it's and right now I'm on sort of a bit of a sabbatical because of health issues. I lost my hearing in my left ear completely, and
Wow.
other issues as well, some other health issues. So I've taken a
Yeah.
step back, and I'm just for a few months and see
No, I
where that
understand
leads me.
completely.
Yeah.
So when you are writing your music, since it's really mostly you, what is your process for writing your music?
Okay. Usually when I uh, want to be creative, you want to use that way, is I start off with like either putting down beats or drum samples, and then maybe like a bass riff or a keyboard riff or whatever. And sometimes I say I want to set out to do like a really agri-tech song, and it evolves into something else. But
Yeah.
so I sit down, and then I get a basic idea, feel for where this track's going to go, and then I add, keep adding different, sound effects, different
Mm.
instruments. And then, so like, for example, some of my latest stuff is more dark ambient, black metal ambient, whatever you want to call it. And that is a bit much slower kind of pace and, very atmospheric as well.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so, and I just let
Very.
it, it's almost like, and I've said this in interviews before, it's almost like an indigenous wood carver, a wood carver.
Mm.
They say that they
Interesting.
let the wood talk to themselves, to them, and to guide them to what this piece of art will actually be. So, will it be a rave or whatever. And so that's
Yeah.
how I approach it. And then when I have a rough idea, I kind of have basically, a song done without lyrics or vocals. Then I write lyrics. Then I record the vocals. And that's the hardest part actually for me, because sometimes it's, do I do like the screechy, screamy stuff, which is mostly what I have in Bleeding Raven, or something else, growling, or regular goth like singing, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I sit down and I do the final mix, and that's the hardest part. After the vocals, I find that is the hardest part for me. Now, I'm not a professional engineer, sound engineer by any means. So, I've struggled a lot, especially with these last few songs. You mentioned Seth, and I've done that with this extreme hearing loss, and it was
Mm.
quite a challenge. But anyway, so what I
Interesting.
do is then so I let the song speak to me, and then that's what, when I start writing the lyrics. I let the mood of the song sort of guide me, and a lot of it, my lyric writing is basically, it's very poetic and very influenced by Jim Morrison,
Nice.
even others that, Beck, for example, that are their
Mm-hmm.
lyrics are more mysterious, and I really like a little bit of Pink Floyd maybe, but anyways, and then the theme unfolds, but a
Nice.
lot of my lyrics, I use a lot of imagery that maybe only I will understand, and I don't necessarily write like a clear cut, here's a story from beginning to end. I
Yeah.
like people I would like people to do a little bit of work and to decide for themselves what the song actually means. So
Right. Right.
yeah, so that's yeah,
Nice.
and so after saying all this, it's not a very intelligent approach maybe to recording music. It's what
No.
I do.
I don't think it me. I don't. Yeah, intelligent is, well, you know, music can be intelligent and still not be good. So a lot of times with music, it's a form, and it's done in so many different ways. That's why I love asking that question, because so many people, they all have their own processes, and I love hearing the different processes, because that can be not only implemented into our life, but into, as a musician, I can look at that and say, ooh, I would love to try that sometime, instead of, but for me, I do that more with words. So when I'll sit down and, okay, well, where's this going to go? What's coming out of this? And the words will come from me. And whereas for you, it's the instruments first. It's that thing. And my husband's the very same way like you are. He's going to get in there. He's going to lay down some things that are more instrumental, and he just kind of sees where it goes, and then the words come after. So everybody has their own process. And what it seems to me when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, it's almost like an impression painting, where they have these beautiful paintings they've created, and very abstract, and everybody who looks at it and sees something different. And
That's
because
right.
it's
That's right.
what speaks to their heart at the moment. And
That's right.
so that is what art is. Art is something that can touch people's heart in so many different ways. And music doesn't just touch the eyes, but it touches the ears and then the spirit of a person. And so it's one of those things that is just that kind of art that can literally create emotion within yourself that everybody's is different.
Rebecca,
Everybody's.
thank you for using the word art, because that is so important to me. If you read any of my interviews, um, the whole notion of art, it seems to be lost in this day and age when it comes to music for a lot of people. Um, just the way music is processed, and I'm convinced that a lot of the younger generations don't appreciate music as art as much as maybe people my age. I don't know your age, but I mean, anyways, people. Anyways, from a certain generation, but
Yeah.
for me, um, approaching so-called music and recording has to be about art. I'm not.
Yes.
I've never set out to be a pop star. Obviously, look at me, and and listen. And my sound is dark. I always joke around and say it's an acquired taste list. It's never been my goal to be some sort of pop star or to try to get a top hit or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just as much. It's not like Peter Steele used to refer to music as sonic therapy. So I sort of see
Yes.
it that way,
Yes.
and
For
I
sure.
understand what he's talking about in some ways, and so yeah, very important to continue to draw to refer to music as much as possible as art,
Yes.
and so yeah.
Well, we are going to listen to one more of your art pieces called Blood River Rage. So tell us about that one.
Blood River Rage. I think it's about. I have to go back into my memory because that was done and recorded. I think it was recorded this year. Yeah. Like anyways, before the summer, I believe. And Blood River Rage, which is on the September Campaign EP. It's basically referring to what's going on right now in the world of politics. And I'm not going to name parties or left, right, left wing, right wing, whatever. But there's an awful lot of hate out there. An awful
Yeah.
lot of hate out there. I mean, we are so
So much.
polarized more and
Yeah.
more right now. But one of the things that I've noticed in the last 4 years, maybe, is that people have a sort of a hateful agenda or mindset, or have more audacity, and there has been consequences to that, and consequences
Yes.
to certain types of rhetoric that people resort to try to be popular, and they're appealing to the lowest common, to the I don't know, whatever they're appealing to. They're not appealing to the best in human nature, and
Yes.
so that's what Blood River Rage is talking about. And it's like we almost have to go back out into the streets and fight for human rights again, it seems like. Whether
Yes.
it's, for we're talking about racism or homophobia or, transphobia, whatever it is, it's like why we seem like we have to go back out into the streets and fight for human rights again, basic human rights. And that's bullshit. I mean, that's really
Yeah.
sad.
It is sad.
And so that's what
It is
Blood
very
River
sad.
Rage is, because people have acted on, as you know, on their their interpretation of certain ideologies, and it's so dangerous. And we
Yeah.
need to wake up, as Jim Morrison
Yes.
says. He screamed out, "Wake up!" We need to wake up because we need to start going in a different direction. And I include in that the way we treat this planet. Now, I know I may sound like an old hippie by saying that, but we're in some trouble right now, I think. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So that's what Blood
Yeah.
River Rage sort of
Nice.
alludes to. People have been victims of racist attacks or other kinds of hate crimes, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
Well, a lot of that stems out of fear. It's like fear of losing, fear of not being. There's just so much fear, and when there's I've noticed in life when fear, even more fear, is piled on top. That's when those those fringes can come out and just take over. And it's like, okay, because they feed on the fear of the world. And it's like, okay, for just a second, it's time for us to stand up. And it seems like every generation has their moment that they have to stand up and say, enough is enough. We need to have
Yeah.
the right things to happen, and right now it is time. It really is. Well, I'm really excited about this song. I picked it, so I like it.
And I just like to add one thing on that. It's so sad
Yeah.
that there are so many people that define themselves in terms of who they hate as opposed to
Yeah.
just who they are. And that's
Yes.
really sad. Anyway,
Yeah.
here under the
Well, we're gonna listen to the song, and it's gonna be amazing, and we'll be right back with you for one more time. Sound great?
Thank you.
Okay. Well, guys, he's pretty cool, right? I know. It was really cool getting to know him. Anyways, so here is, just so you guys know, here is Blood River Rage by Bleeding Raven coming then. I Surrender All by Celtic Rain. I know, but this one is the version that me and Samuel recorded on our first album. So it's a little bit older, has a little bit of a jazzy feel to it. Oh, sorry. And then we're going to listen to Coffee Pots and Cigarettes by Mike Ramos. I know, it's some great stuff. But just saying, it's one of those nights where we get to listen to some amazing music and hear an amazing band talk about all of the great things that they're doing. I know. It's a great life. What can I say? Here we go.
take me now. I surrender all. I surrender all to thee. I surrender all. So pass me by the outer courts to the holy place, past the brazen altar. Oh Lord, I want to seek your face. Pass me by the crowds of people, priests who sing your praise. Oh Lord, I hunger and thirst for your righteousness, for it's only found in one place. So take me into the holy of holies. Take me in by the blood of the Lamb. Take me into the holy of holies. Take the coal, cleanse my lips, here I am. So pass me by the outer courts to the holy place, past the brazen altar. Oh Lord, I want to seek your face. Pass me by the crowds of people, priests who sing your praise. Oh Lord, I hunger and thirst for your righteousness, for it's only found in one place. So take me into the holy of holies. Take me in by the blood of the Lamb. Take me into the holy of holies. Take the coal, cleanse my lips, here I am. So take me into the holy of holies. Take me in by the blood of the Lamb. Take me into the holy of holies. Take the coal, cleanse my lips, here I am. Take the coal, cleanse my lips, here I am. Oh, to Jesus I surrender. All to you I freely give. I will ever love and trust you in your presence daily live. I surrender all. I surrender all to you, my blessed Savior. I surrender all. I surrender all.
So glad to hear from you, old friend. Every so often I will stop and wonder what has become of my old friend. Whatever happened to the man that I once knew? All I can do is wish you well and hope that you will remember. All I can do is wish you well. When I get lost inside my head, eyes that got by, and I began to cry. All I can do is wish you well, and hope that you will remember. All I can do is wish you well. All the days and nights together, writing songs about whatever, coffee pots and cigarettes, lived our lives with no regrets. You'll always be a part of me in every single song, so you'll be never gone. All I can do is wish you well, and hope that you will remember. All I can do is wish you well. All the days and nights together, writing songs about whatever, coffee pots and cigarettes, lived our life with no regret.
It's such a great song, right? And it's kind of interesting. Today has just been one of those days where you're just like, all right, so yeah, life hit you in the face. Good job, life. And those who helped. And you just kind of sit there and you go, okay. But you know what? Spending this time with you guys has just taken my whole day and just, it's like it just took it and just said, no, now you're able to sit here and listen to this amazing music and get to talk to these amazing people. That's awesome. I'm just saying. That's not a bad life at all, right? I know. Well, we're going to hear from Bleeding Raven one more time. And again, it is pre-recorded, so I have a different outfit on. Just the way it is. And then we'll hear our last bit of music, but I wanted to say thank you so much. Also, if you are not watching on YouTube, you can go to youtube.com/C for channel /Celtic Rain, and like rain out of the sky, and you can subscribe so you know when we are actually recording this live. I know, it's just one of those things. I'm just saying. But we do have one more interview with Bleeding Raven, so you guys, here we go. Hey guys, we are back with Bleeding Raven. This is awesome. I have really enjoyed talking to you. It's been really awesome. I would ask though, what's going on now? Are you performing? Are you writing? What's going on?
No, right now, certainly not performing. I've never been a live act. In fact, there's barely a pulse. No, just kidding. I've not been a live act. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not very probable that I will be a live act. I don't know. I doubt it very much. Like I said, I keep going back to the fact that this was just a hobby that, got me a little bit of a label deal. So a couple label deals. So because of my hearing loss, I'm also very limited. Well, so what I've decided to do, I have a lot out there. I have a lot released between Gnostic Gorilla and Bleeding Raven. And some of it is released on LGBT1, which is, LGB1. LGP1.
LGP1. There you go.
And so that's my own independent label.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of stuff to promote yet. For example, I'm still promoting the vinyl release of Hide the Ghost, which is a Gnostic Gorilla release. We're going to be promoting as well a September campaign, which is Bleeding Raven. with and with the video that's going to be coming out fairly soon. So I'm really, really looking forward to that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and so a
That's
lot
really
of my energy will be focused on just promoting what I have because,
Nice.
like I've said in many of my interviews, I'm nobody, right? I mean, I don't mean that in an existential sense, but I mean, I'm not well known, and so I would be a fool to think I'm some sort of star. I'm not. So I'm like a snowflake in a blizzard, more or less, like I always say. But I think there's still possibilities to promote my stuff. I mean, if
Oh,
Cleopatra
absolutely.
wanted to release some of my stuff, it means there's something good enough,
Yeah.
interesting enough. So there's
Well,
that.
and that's what the show is all about, is promoting people that are the small label and the independent artists. It's like, okay, it's time for the world to hear what these musicians have to say and have to give. And so that's why I started the show. February last February. So it's almost a year now. But there's a need right now for people's heart to be shown. And so, yeah, promote exactly. So when they are looking for your music, you do have two Facebook pages. You have facebook.com/bleeding raven,
Yeah.
and then you also have the facebook.com/gnostic gorilla.
Yeah.
When they're looking for your music, is that the best places to go, or would you go somewhere else as well? Are
There's
you like
also,
on
you know what? I
Spotify
always
or
tell people, that the fastest way in some ways is just Google Gnostic Gorilla or Bleeding Raven, and you'll find all kinds of stuff. You'll find interviews. There's stuff on
nice?
YouTube. I have a few videos on YouTube with both projects. So, yeah, the best way is just to Google or go to YouTube and type in, Gnostic Gorilla or Bleeding Raven. But go to
Perfect.
Google or any other search engine and put in Bleeding Raven or Gnostic Gorilla. And there's lots of interviews where you can get stuff. I'm on iTunes, Spotify, all of those.
Perfect. Yeah,
major
exactly.
digital music
Yeah.
distributors and all that. So
That way people can
Yeah.
download your music. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Now in March, I'm actually hoping to I'll be going to a gig and I'll be meeting Gary Newman, who is my biggest influence as a young lad,
Nice.
inspiration, I suppose. So, and I will be giving him a copy of Hide the Ghost, and we've had a bit of a email exchange, not much, but a bit of an email
Nice.
exchange, and so that's one other thing. I mean, that's not promotion; that's just connecting with someone that inspired me
Yes.
so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to actually listen to the last song that we're going to listen to from you tonight. It's called Seth. So tell me about Seth.
Okay, Seth is it's biblical, and it's about a more or less. Sometimes I get just get a title, and it's it's definitely from the Old Testament, but I just go on into I get inspired by the story, but I go on and make it sort of like a modern story or inspired by that story.
Nice.
And so basically, someone who's struggling with the big questions, with the questions of where do we come from and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to get into what religion this, no religion that, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But most of us do struggle with these big questions. I think the big questions of existence,
Absolutely.
and especially the question of evil. We try to we grapple with that. The question of evil. And so Seth sort of alludes to, if there is such a thing as a good God, why is there's so much suffering and so much darkness and so on. So, have we answered that question? Probably not. We probably never will. And I think that's maybe, I've often said that the destiny is the journey itself, maybe.
Yes.
So Seth is sort of a nod to that struggling with the inner questions and, there is a God or there is no God, whatever. There's all kinds of, directions that go. And I don't want to guide anybody in any particular direction because I want people to listen to a song and read the lyrics and come up, what it means, decide for themselves what it means for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got it. Absolutely. Well, we're going to listen to this, and I want to say thank you so much for being on the show. It has been a pleasure.
Rebecca, and keep doing what you do, and especially keep focused on art.
Well, guys, there you are. Bleeding Raven, right? Awesome. So yeah, we are going to listen to a little bit more of Bleeding Raven. I know we're going to listen to Seth, and then we're going to listen to The Flying Scotsman. It's a piper tune that Celtic Rain, my group, does. And then we're going to listen to Desert Song by Molotov Monday. And then we're going to listen to Carol of the Bells by Doug Fox. It's just some great stuff that's coming up next. And, you know, it is what it is, right? Great music is great music. And so now we get to listen to great music. Here we go.
desert, off to a distant land. Left me no water, send help if you can. Took me out to the desert, off to a distant land. Left me no water, send help if you can. Desert wonder,
I'm blessed to be able to play some amazing music. And I thank all of my musicians for sending that amazing music to me. I'm just floored at how blessed I am in that way. This has been the Celtic Rain Radio Show. If you want to send music to me, it has to be from a small label or independent artist, family friendly. And if you're going to do a cover, it needs to be something that's public domain. Okay? So you can send it to celticrain777@gmail.com. If you are watching anywhere else, you can follow us. You can actually go and subscribe on youtube.com/C for channel/Celtic Rain, and like Rain Out of the Sky, and you'll be able to subscribe and know when we are going to be every Tuesday night we record this live. We thank you so much for coming and joining us tonight. This is the Celtic Rain Radio Show, and we thank you so much. You are amazing. Good night, everybody.